Okay, let me just check here. Okay, so Assalamu alaikum, Sister Lateefah. We are great. We are live. We are set on Zoom and we are set here on Facebook. So I would first like to offer the greetings of peace. Assalamu alaikum to everyone, and peace be upon each and every one of you who are viewing this interview live or the recording live. My name is Tahira Talabdeen, and I'm the founder of Hearts Connecting, which is a virtual online janaza and memorial facilitation company, and we facilitate virtual services for the family and friends who aren't able to attend in person. We also provide grief recovery workshop for Muslim women and women of faith who are widows. And we also provide transcending grief coaching for those who have lost a loved one. So this evening, I have a special, beautiful guest and dear sister of mine, Sister Lateefah Abdul Jabbar. She is a widow and her husband returned to Allah in the 2020, I think 2020 or 2021, she will identify and correct the date. And I wanted to I brought her on this evening so that she can share in her experience of being a widow. And most importantly, her experience and the impact that the widow support group has had in her life. And we're conducting this interview so that we can bring more awareness to the sister who has been returned back to Allah and who may need that additional emotional support to properly grieve the loss of her husband in a safe space and a safe environment that is non-judgmental and that's really geared towards supporting you or supporting that sister. So if you know of any sisters who husband have returned back to the Lord, please share this video with them and let them know that we have a widow support group that's launching. Our next workshop will begin September 22nd, and I'll be sure to post all of the descriptions and I'll be sure to post the link in the description so that way they can register. So with that said, I would like to welcome you, my beautiful dear sister Lateefah. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam. Thank you.
Alhamdulillah, you're welcome. Thank you. Thank you so much for being willing to share in your experience and being so courageous and sharing your experience of the widow support group and really just being a beautiful light to other women who have experienced what we've experienced, like losing the love of our lives, and providing some form of inspiration and ease during such difficult time. So before we dive into the heart of the questions, will you please share with the viewers your husband? Who is your husband, and when did he return to Allah, and how long have you and your husband been married?
Thank you. Yes, my husband's name is Harold Mays. We were married for 44 years, New York City. He returned to Allah April 19. As I say, 1999. No,
yes.
April 2020. Yes, and here I am as a widow here with Sister Tahira, sharing whatever it is that she wishes me to share.
Yes, thank you. So we're going to just dive right in there, my beautiful sister. Can you share with the viewers, like, why did you join the Muslim Women and Women of Faith Widows Support Group and the workshops?
So because my husband passed away during the time we were all sheltered in due to COVID, I didn't have an opportunity to be with and do the things that I normally would do. I would have been at the masjid, you know, and but even though my family was very supportive of me, my daughter came to the house. She is living in Georgia. And so she came when I told her my husband was going, her father was going into the hospital. And when I found out from Imam Abdul Aziz about this, I said I wanted to come because I had not really gotten it out of my system, even though you don't really get it out of your system, but I wasn't able to really share as I wanted to. Didn't want to share with my daughter because she was going through. So I was being supportive of her, being the strong mom, you know, and so I didn't share with her as I would have shared with my sisters.
Mm.
So it came at a time, I tell you, Allah will send you what you need when you need it. It came at a time that I really, really needed it.
You know, when you touched on something regarding like having that support group to really lean on, to get it out of your system, that grief and that void of a pain that is in the heart and in the gut area. And you didn't want to necessarily lean on your daughter because you wanted to be that support system for her. Can you speak more to the support that you received and how impactful it was to actually be among your peers who understand what it's like to lose a spouse? Can you speak more to the impact of leaning on your peers?
Yes. So we went in there and we were not forced to show our faces if we didn't want to. And we were not forced to speak if we didn't want to. And there were some sisters initially who were reluctant to speak. What it was going in, and Sister Tahira very patiently and very caring listened to us and allowed us to go at our own pace. And I started off slowly. And as I started off, I didn't realize that there was so much pain inside. And as I was releasing it and talking about it, and then the way in which Sister Tahira has, you know, she had different quotes. She talks about different things about life and things that put you at ease and make you think, at least it did for me. And I found out later from some of the other sisters, it did for them. So I was able to feel like, and you all know what that feeling is, you know, you can't really express it, but when you get that feeling, and then I just couldn't wait for the next session. It was warm, it was welcoming, and then listening to other sisters and they sharing and comforting you, even though we weren't physically together, we were spiritually together, we were emotionally together, and you could feel it. You could literally feel it. And to hear it from them, and you're sharing and they're sharing and listening and talking, it was just such an experience, such an experience.
And thank you so much for that, Sister Lateefah. And what she's speaking to a couple of things. She's speaking to the relatability, like seeing herself in the other sisters sharing and in the other sisters' experiences and stories. And that is one of the miracles when coming in community and being among your peers in shared experiences. She also mentioned regarding, you know, sisters showing up as they are. Like one of the intentions are you is a safe space. You get to show up as you are. So we are very high on confidentiality and holding space for you as you are. So if you decide to come on, as Sister Lateefah mentioned, you can keep your camera off. You can turn your camera on. You can share and offer your reflections or your remarks, or you don't have to say a word. Like this workshop and this space is for you, for the sister who lost her spouse. And we are really high on relatability, showing up as you are, and confidentiality. So I really appreciate you mentioning that, Sister Lateefah. Can you speak more to how have the support of the sisters assisted you in the process of losing your husband in that healing process? Can you speak more to that healing process?
Yes. In healing for me, it's releasing emotionally, being able to cry and feeling comfortable crying is something I cherish. I'm a crier. I cry when I'm happy. I'm crying when I sad. I'm crying, you know, oh my gosh, look at the sunset. It's beautiful. That's the way I am. However, yes, going through losing your husband, someone that you've been very close to, intimately, emotionally, financially, in every way you can think of us sharing readings of the Quran together, of us sharing, going to parties together. the memories that you have there, they come to your mind and they come to you at different times. For me, during our sessions, I was able to reflect a lot on things that my marriage meant to me that I didn't even realize. And as I heard the other sisters sharing, they couldn't see me, but I was going, oh, I know what you're talking about, sister. Oh my gosh, oh yes, can't they be like that? And then there were times I was saying, that didn't happen to me, but I can see how that happened to her. You become, I don't want to just say sensitive, but you become more in tune to other people's challenges that they're going through their experiences. You, like I said, you see similarities, you see differences, but you don't compare. Yes. And never once did I feel like I had to say something. Never once did I feel like, oh, because this is what Sister Tahira is saying is what it means, that I didn't feel like that and I felt comfortable. So yes. It's just an experience. I'm giving you these words, but you won't understand it until you're there. You really won't understand, but it helped me to grow, and I'm still growing. Yes, it helped me to know that I still have more healing, but I am so far more towards being healed than I was last year in April of 2020. And I'm looking forward to more healing, inshallah, that Allah is going to give me. And because of this, I write. Because of what we're going through, I've been writing these words and just been coming in, and I'm writing because I want to help more sisters. I want to help them as they're going through perhaps the death of their spouses, but other things. So I'm just like, I got to do this. I got to do this. It just made me so more aware and so more willing to do more.
Yes, that was so beautiful. Speaking to the healing process and the stages of grief and all of the different levels of stages that you go through in your healing process. And there's just not one fixed way that gets you through the process. It's a culmination of various events and various experiences that assist in the healing process. And appreciate you just sharing that you're going through your stages and you're going through your phases. And this support group was a tool in assisting you in going through your healing stages. And I could just relate, because even through my healing process, it's been a year and maybe a couple of months since my husband returned to Allah. And where I am today, I see the difference. Like the light is beaming, and I feel the healing process. But there are layers and levels of this grieving process of letting go and also accepting the reality that Antar is no longer here, and accepting the new normal, and accepting my life as my life as it is now. And that and that takes time, and it takes intentionality, and it takes being very diligent in the healing process. So I really appreciate you sharing that. And I also just want to touch on the your contribution to the group, because you are such a beautiful light and a positive source to us, in your contribution to the group. And that's what's so beautiful about the group, is like we all get to contribute to each other's healing process. And you bring such a beautiful light and great wisdom in the group for those sisters who are my age and younger, and even those who are equaling your age. Is your positivity and your light that really contributes greatly to the group. And we truly appreciate your wisdom and your contribution. We'll have two more questions for you. We're going to wrap things up. So why do you believe that Muslim women and women of faith who are surviving spouses need to or can benefit from a group such as this?
To understand what death is of a spouse, to understand what our faith and our belief actually is and how it addresses this. I always knew that and always know that we're not here forever.
Yes.
And my husband knew that too. This helped me to understand al-Islam more, to get me more in tune with it. I always was, not always, but I grew more into it. I converted to this after being a Christian. It's bringing me closer to that, and knowing that my role here is more important than I thought it was before.
Okay.
And seeing sisters go through what I'm going through, I'm getting help. There are some out there that don't come to these, have not come. As a matter of fact, I had a girlfriend that came the first session, and she told me she couldn't deal with it anymore. I haven't dropped her though. I talk to her and I share with her things that I learned in the workshop, to make her feel more comfortable with losing her spouse. So we have a role and we have a duty, and it's just not about us. It's not just about our families. It's about the world that Allah has put us in, and we have a purpose. And this gave me more of what my purpose is. When I see and when I hear the sisters and what they're going through. As a matter of fact, I've been calling two of the sisters that we exchange numbers, and I call and I talk to them and I just listen to them. And it's sisters, if there's anybody out there that has lost their spouse and you have not come, I want you to just come and experience, and come with a hope, open heart, come with an open mind. Don't come, oh, it's going to be this, it's going to be that, because it's not going to be. Just take it for what it is. Like you taste the fruit for the first time, and you just taste that juice, and you just taste it like that, and you accept it for what it is, whether you like it or not, but you accept it for what it is. That's what you got to do. And that's what we have to do with life. Do not have expectations of what it should be. There is no should. Just come. It's going to help you. It's going to help you. And if it doesn't, I'll give you my telephone number. You can call me.
So Lateefah, oh, you said so much there. What that whole mission and that whole purpose of doing something greater than ourselves, like the prophet, praise and peace be upon him, says, those who help the widows and those in need are like warriors, strive in the way of Allah, and like one who prays all night and fast all through the day. So to be someone, and we are being an outlet and an aid and a help for the widows, is such a noble act. It's such an act that is favored upon and looked really highly upon, that Allah looks highly upon. And I really appreciate you just sharing with the sisters, like, it's okay for them to take that first step, like take the initiative to see what a support group is about. It may not be for you, and it may be for you. You will only know if you give it a try, and you just, like, what is it? Put your toe in the water and just test the waters and feel what it's about. And I really want to emphasize how this is truly a safe environment, and it's a confidential environment. So what we share in the group, it stays in the group. And we hold that to the highest standard of integrity. So I really appreciate you, like, really inviting the sisters to try it out. Because I recall when I went to my first widow support group in Sacramento, it was virtual. When I lost my husband, I was going through my healing process by myself. I didn't have family here due to COVID and travel restrictions. It was just a really high risk for families to come. So when I joined this group, just as you mentioned in the previous question, like, there was that sigh of release and ease. And that's really what's at the other end. It's relief, but also know that if you, and I speak to the sister who is listening, who's widow, like, you'll know in your gut when it's time. know that this is an option and it's an outlet for you. And I also encourage the sisters to also trust that intuitive guide and know that you'll know what you need and when it's time. So we encourage you to register into the 6-week grief recovery workshop. You can listen on to the first group. And if you feel this is for you, then you can continue on. And if you feel this is not for you, then you can always come back or you can never come back. Whatever your choice is, it really comes down to what you're most comfortable with. I'm going to wrap it up with this last question, Sister Lateefah. So the widow support group, we do not charge the widows to attend the workshops. The workshop there is free for the sisters to attend. And we go and we also, we sponsor, we solicit sponsorships for the workshops so that the sisters don't have to even think of any financial responsibility to attend. In your opinion, why do you feel the importance of someone sponsoring a widow and the impact that the sponsorship has on the widow's life?
Well, Sister Tahira is running a business, you all. This is a business that she's running. Let's not forget that. A very important business. And there are expenses. There are expenses. She's paying for this. And if we can afford to give an amount to help, we're helping her and we're helping every other sister that comes there. So I find it as my duty, and I volunteered. I was not coerced to give. I did not receive calls at night telling me to give. I didn't receive multiple emails. No. Because of what I got from it and am getting, I'm going back again, y'all. I've been to 2 cycles. I'm going back. I'm looking forward, inshallah, to being there. What I got from it and what I continue to get from it, there's no dollar amount. So if I can share what Allah has given me, the material, the money that he's given to me, I have to give it. It is my obligation to give it. I said that I believe and I'm a true believer, and then I don't give, then I'm a hypocrite. And Allah knows what's in our hearts. So that's why I give. It's needed because this program cannot stop. It cannot stop. And if I can help it to continue even after I'm off the face of the earth, alhamdulillah. So anybody who's listening to this, if you, and it's any amount, because when you add pennies together, you get $1, right?
That's
and when
right.
you add those dollars together, you get 10 and so on. It's the
That's
multiples. Right. So whatever you can afford, and if you can't afford it, send out those wonderful love vibrations and pray for this program to be successful. That's why Tahira, I give.
Alhamdulillah, this is so beautiful. This is so beautiful. I want to just take a moment and look on Facebook. We have some comments here, and I want to just read some comments because I don't want to skip over anyone, and then we're going to wrap up with your final remarks. So we have our beautiful sister, Patricia. She says, it's been an amazing experience and so much support. She says, Assalamu alaikum, sisters. We have 11 comments, but I'm only able to see 4 of them. So I want to just make sure that we don't skip over anyone. And then okay, another sister says that workshop was the beginning for me. Even though it's been 20 years, I had not opened up about this at all. So we have sisters who lost their spouses over umpteen years ago, and this is the first time that they actually have an outlet to express themselves in a non-judgmental space, because oftentimes widows are typically like forgotten, like it's not, there's no space for the woman who lost her husband or even the man who lost their wife to grieve in a non-judgmental environment and to let them know that it's okay how you feel and there's nothing wrong with how you feel. So some of these sisters, for the first time, they have a space to really go through the emotional grief without judgment.
Mm-hmm.
And to be honored and to feel dignified about how they feel. And that's what makes it easy for sisters to grow through the process, because they have a space that honors their emotion and their experience. Because some don't have the family members' support to mourn through the loss of their husbands. Mm-hmm. And that some women are blessed to have that family support. But there are a lot of sisters who don't have that outlet. So I really appreciate the sisters' remarks and on social media and just sharing your experience, because you matter. Your experience matter. And most importantly, the love that you shared with your husband matter. We acknowledge her. We acknowledge you. We acknowledge each other. So thank you so much for that, Sister Halima. Mm-hmm. Okay, so Sister Lateefah, I love you with all of my heart. Just want to give an opportunity to offer your final remarks. Anything you would like to leave the people with?
Yes, I was just thinking as you were talking just now, with the healing and the sharing, Allah's given us so much, and we have to give back. And sometimes we don't give to ourselves things that we need to give. We give to others. Those of us who are mothers, we give to the mothers. When we were married, many times we gave so much to our husbands and didn't give to ourselves. And so when your husband leaves, sometimes not only may you feel the void that he's gone, but you also have something else that you may not put your hand on it. And what it is that you have to know that you are strong. You have within you everything that you need to have, because Allah knows best. He's the planner. Stop doubting yourself. Stop staying away from healing. Go for it. And go for it 100%, the same way you did for your children, the same way you did for your spouse, the same way you did for somebody you work for. And we can give, but we don't give to ourselves. You need this. Allah didn't create you just to be someone's spouse. Allah created you to keep doing and growing and giving back. And if he gives you a spouse later on down the line, what are you going to give him if you haven't taken care of yourself? And if you haven't or not given a person to marry, you need to be whole, sisters. You need to be whole. Go for it. Come and share and listen and start working on being the person that you were created to be. Because there's nobody in the world like you. And there will never, ever be another person like you. And if you don't become who you are, you're keeping us from knowing you. You're keeping your family from knowing the true you. Give that to yourself, because Allah has put it in you. May Allah continue to bless each and every one of you with clarity of mind, of spirit. And don't just read the Quran, live it. Don't just listen to khutbah, live it. Don't just read and hear hadith, live it. You only have one life to live. And Allah has put in you to have the best life you can have. Get rid of that pain, get rid of that hurt, and smile more, and smile from your soul. Thank you, sister.
Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. That was so profound and so beautiful, because on the other end of that pain, going through your healing is so much light in so many blessings and so much treasure that Allah has for us. Do you think that the pain that we experience losing our spouses, which studies have shown is the top life altering event in an adult's life, that Allah is not going to have a mountain of ease and a mountain of rewards and a mountain of treasures for us? So I appreciate everything you bring to the table and to life, Sister Lateefah. You truly are a gem, and we appreciate you. And thank you so much for being so generous in your sharing and being open and courageous to share part of your experience of the Widow Support Group. And I would like to conclude by inviting the sister or the person who's listening who knows of a sister or a woman who lost her spouse. We invite you to register for the Grief Recovery Workshop that begins September 22nd, next Wednesday. You can go to muslimwidow.com and you can register on the site. Again, there's no charge for the sister to register. And this is a workshop for Muslim women and women of faith. And it's a 6-week grief recovery workshop at muslimwidow.com. And I'll be sure to post the link in the description. We appreciate you. Thank you so much for your time. Please share this video. God bless, and God make the peace of God be with you. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.